It is far safer to be feared than to be loved. If you cannot be both, Niccolo Machiavelli said. They won't announce their betrayal with a trumpet. They will offer you a smile, perhaps a compliment, maybe even a favor. And behind all of it, they're watching, waiting, calculating. The second you slip, the second you let down your guard, they strike, not because you're weak, but because you looked weak. In a world ruled by appearances, the illusion of vulnerability is more dangerous than the reality of pain. To survive, to win, to dominate, you must become unreadable. Not just untouchable in strength, but untouchable in perception. This isn't about being loud, flashy, or feared. It's about being beyond understanding. Power doesn't come from being seen. It comes from controlling what others believe they see. Machiavelli understood what most men today have forgotten, that safety lies not in being loved or admired, but in being unknowable. In this age of oversharing and overexposure, your silence is your fortress, your unpredictability, your blade. Let them guess. Let them wonder. And when they finally think they have you figured out, vanish. The moment they think they can reach you, make them realize they never even knew where you were standing. To become untouchable is not to disappear from the world. It is to be present in it without being owned by it. It is to make every action deliberate, every word strategic, and every movement a message. If they can predict you, they can plan against you. So stop broadcasting your truth. Start signing your myth. This is not about hiding who you are. It is about becoming so composed, so deliberate, that who you are no longer matters. Only what they perceive. And what they perceive should be a shadow that moves with purpose, a presence that whispers dominance without ever raising its voice. Chapter 1. The Art of Masking Weakness. Weakness isn't what breaks you. The appearance of weakness is. In a world run by optics, showing pain is a broadcast, a signal, a target. Every tear, every complaint, every crack in your voice becomes a map others can follow straight to your breaking point. The ones who survive aren't the ones who feel less. They are the ones who reveal less. Machiavellian resilience is not about being emotionless. It is about being strategically opaque. You can eel the pressure, you can bleed behind the curtain, but in public, you must be stone. Because the second they see you stagger, the scavengers begin to circle, and they don't wait for you to fall. They help push. To mask weakness is to control narrative. You don't need to be invincible. You need to be unreadable. Ask yourself, when was the last time you let someone see you lose control? Did they protect you, or did they file it away for later? People rarely forget your worst moment. They study it, and the more you give them, the more they learn how to access you. Stop giving them access. The mask isn't about being fake, it's about being guarded. There is a difference between being authentic and being unfiltered. Strategic authenticity is power. Raw emotional leakage is weakness. You must learn the discipline of image, not because you care what they think, but because you must own what they think. Never complain, never explain. Never show your wounds. Those who can see your pain will use it to control you. Those who think you feel nothing will fear what you might be capable of. In silence, you become unpredictable, and in unpredictability, you become untouchable. Let your emotions be your fire, but never your display. You are allowed to rage, but not to broadcast it. You are allowed to cry, but never to post it. Your suffering is not for public consumption. It is fuel. Let it feed your strategy. Let it sharpen your focus. The man who learns to bleed behind closed doors becomes the one they never see coming. That man terrifies not because he is loud, but because he is still. Because his silence says more than their screams ever could. Train yourself to smile in chaos, to nod when your heart breaks, to hold your posture when the floor caves in beneath you. Power is not the absence of pain. Power is your ability to wear armor so seamlessly that no one knows you're bleeding underneath. Dohu. Not wait for the world to respect your vulnerability. It won't. Respect in this world is reserved for those who make others nervous. And nothing makes people more nervous than a man they cannot figure out. Be calm, be calculated, be untouchable. Chapter 2. Mastering Silence, Weaponizing Uncertainty. In silence, you write the loudest message. They can't prepare for what they can't predict, and they can't destroy what they can't read. If you want to control the board, you must remove your thoughts from it. Do not announce, do not explain, make them wonder. The modern world has made men too talkative, too eager to share their every move, their every plan, their every insecurity. But every word you speak is a tool you place in, so one else's hand. Every confession becomes a key, every disclosure a weakness. The Machiavellian mind doesn't seek to be understood, it seeks to be underestimated, feared, or both. And silence is the quickest route to both. You do not owe the world your thoughts. You owe yourself your leverage. Hold your cards so close they can't even tell you're playing. Respond slowly, reveal little. Learn to enjoy the discomfort others feel in your silence. Let them guess. When people can't predict you, they begin to project. And projection is noise. The more noise they make, the more clearly you can hear their intentions. The more they talk, the more they expose. Meanwhile, you're listening, and that is your weapon. Silence is not absence. Silence is pressure. It makes people uncomfortable. It makes them talk to fill the void. And in that void, they hand you everything. Speak when necessary, but never to fill a silence. Speak to cut, speak to shape. Every word must be deliberate. Every sentence a blade, and every pause a noose tightening around their certainty. Do not explain your moves. Let the outcomes explain them for you. The less they know about your process, the more terrified they become of your results. Think like this. A man who speaks little is either powerless or powerful. The smart ones assume the latter. The foolish assume the former, until it's too late. Use unpredictability as strategy. Keep people off balance. Let them second guess your intent. Let them feel like they missed something. Keep your rhythms uneven, your tone unreadable, your posture casual yet alert. Because the second they think they understand you, they begin to plan. And the untouchable are never a part of anyone else's plan. They are the reason others' plans fail. Silence is how you dominate a room without raising your voice. It's how you win battles before they begin. It is not weakness, it is presence. Be the man who speaks so rarely that he does. Every syllable lands like a strike. Speak like consequence. Remain unreadable. And let silence be the most terrifying thing in the room. Chapter 3. Remove emotion from the equation. Emotions are natural, but in the hands of your enemies, they are liabilities. There is nothing noble about being emotionally transparent in a hostile world. Sensitivity may feel virtuous, but it is a luxury for the safe and the naive. When you wear your heart on your sleeve, you hand your adversaries a map. Every outburst becomes a lesson in your triggers. Every visible reaction becomes an opportunity. You must choose. Do you want to be understood, or do you want to be untouchable? The emotionally undisciplined are the easiest to predict, the simplest to trap. They act on impulse, they speak in heat, they lash out and break their own position without ever being pushed. You don't need enemies when your emotions do their job for them. But emotion itself isn't weakness. Mismanaged emotion is. The untouchable man doesn't ignore his feelings. He studies them, isolates them, and extracts power from them. He feels betrayal but never lets it show. He registers offense, but never takes the bait. He experiences fear but turns it into calculation. Replace the question, "How do I feel?" with, "What does this achieve?" This shift in language is your first weapon. It distances you from your reaction and places you back in control of your strategy. Let emotion be the spark, but strategy must be the flame. Imagine this. Someone tries to provoke you. They expect a flare-up. They want you rattled, but you respond with stillness, with a nod, with silence. That moment of restraint does more damage than 100 angry words, because it tells them one thing: you cannot be moved. The untouchable man is no. Too cold because he has no heart. He is cold because he refuses to bleed on command. This discipline must become your nature. Observe your own impulses as if they belong to someone else. Step outside yourself in moments of intensity and ask, is this useful? Is this worthy of expression? If it is not part of the plan, it must be burned. You cannot lead if you cannot command yourself. Let anger become a signal, not a master. Let jealousy become a reminder of what you must outperform. Let fear become fuel for preparation. Every emotion is raw power if it's converted, but left unchecked, it becomes noise, and noise makes you visible, predictable, vulnerable. In a world of manipulators, your calm is both shield and blade. The man who does not react becomes the man they fear. Here, he is unreadable, and the unreadable man cannot be outmaneuvered. So the next time someone tests you, do not rise, do not explain, do not match their chaos. Instead, withdraw to clarity. Observe from distance. Strike when the cost is low and the impact high. Let the world mistake your patience for peace. And when you move, let them feel the consequence of provoking a man who feels deeply but never carelessly. Chapter 4. Cut off the strings of loyalty. Loyalty is a beautiful word, and it is also a dangerous illusion. Most people use loyalty as a leash. They want your loyalty to bind you, to obligate you, to silence your instincts when their interests conflict with your survival. They want your loyalty unconditional, even when their actions are not. The Machiavellian mind sees loyalty for what it is, transactional. People are loyal to what benefits them. They are faithful as long as you're useful. The moment your value fades, so does their allegiance. That isn't cynicism, that is survival. And survival demands clarity. The untouchable man does not invest in promises. He invests in leverage. He understands that fear of loss creates longer ties than declarations of devotion. You do not need people to love you. You need them to calculate the cost of betraying you and hesitate. Let others swear their oaths. You build influence. You do not owe loyalty to those who compromise your principles. You do not owe sacrifice to those who drain your power. The world respects strength, not sentiment, and every time you let someone stay who should be removed, you reduce your edge. Keep people close, but never let them inside your core. Let them believe in connection, but never give them your dependence. Make yourself needed, never needy. When someone does you a favor, repay it with action, not submission. Gratitude is proper, servitude is weakness. Hold your posture, even in thanks. Build alliances, not friendships. Friendship is an emotional contract easily broken by envy, resentment, or convenience. Alliances are built on mutual interest. They last as long as they benefit both sides. That is power, knowing exactly what you're worth and never overpaying for loyalty. Cut ties when necessary, not emotionally, strategically. Detach when the value is gone, not when the pain becomes unbearable. The untouchable man always sees it coming because he expects it. They will say you are cold. Let them. Better cold than controlled. Keep your inner circle small. Not because you don't trust anyone, but because you value control. And control is lost when your access points are too many. The fewer people who know your thoughts, your moves, your triggers, the more power you retain. Guard yourself like a fortress. Let them knock. Let them wonder. But never let them inside. To the world, you are loyal to the mission. To yourself, you are loyal to the code. All else is subject to evaluation. And when they betray you, do not scream. Do not explain. Replace them before they know they are replaceable. That is not vengeance. That is design. Loyalty is not your safety net. It is their illusion. Let them believe it. You believe in leverage. Chapter 5. Live in the shadows. Rule without being seen. Visibility is the enemy of control. The moment they see too much, they begin to map you. They dissect your behaviors, anticipate your reactions, and prepare their ambush. Influence is safest in silence. Authority is most effective when it's felt, not flaunted. The most powerful figure in any room is not the one in the spotlight, it's the one who doesn't need it. Machiavelli knew this. that the man who draws attention invites enemy. Eyes, that the more they know about you, the more they plan around you. So the untouchable man steps back, not to retreat, but to command from the shadows. Let others become addicted to recognition. Let them beg for likes, for applause, for validation. That addiction makes them predictable, exposed, fragile. You, on the other hand, must become a ghost with gravity, a presence that shifts the room without needing to speak. Your absence should provoke questions. Your silence should feel strategic. When you do show up, it should mean something. You don't need to be everywhere. You need to be in the one place that matters at the one moment that counts. Don't just hide, disappear with purpose, withdraw tactically, vanish from places where presence no longer yields power. And when you return, let it feel deliberate, sharpened, like a blade unveiled from its sheath. Stop posting your every move. Stop announcing your intentions. Speak when your silence has already due. On the damage, the untouchable man doesn't walk into rooms to be seen. He enters to end discussions. Be brief, be scarce, be effective. Understand this. The world fears what it cannot see clearly. The unseen hand shapes events. The anonymous strategist directs outcomes. Let others wear the crown. You own the throne behind the curtain. Power without presence is mastery. You influence the board, yet no one can trace your fingerprints. You are everywhere and nowhere. Build your life like. Be a fortress, high walls, few gates. Let them hear rumors, not confirmations. Let your name be spoken more often than your voice. Be the story, not the narrator. The man who craves recognition becomes a slave to it. The man who controls from the shadows becomes immortal. Chapter 6. Dominate without mercy, strike without warning. Mercy is a gift the powerful offer when dominance is already secured. Before then, it's a risk. The untouchable do not wait for others to apologize. They do not issue warnings or second chances. When they strike, they end things, not because they are cruel. Because they understand something most people refuse to admit. Unfinished enemies return stronger. Half measures are invitations. The slap you forgive today becomes the knife. You're back tomorrow. Your enemies must know. Crossing you comes with a price they cannot afford. When you are tested, respond without delay, without explanation, without emotion. The cleaner the execution, the louder the message. The more silent the retaliation, the more permanent the fear. Do not play fair, play final. People often confuse kindness with weakness and silence with surrender. Let them. Their misjudgment is your camouflage, but the moment they act against you, act to back in a way that removes the option of repetition. This is not about revenge. Revenge is emotional. This is about removal. If a threat exists, you eliminate it. Reputation is your shadow army. Make sure it whispers the right stories. Make sure people tell others what happens to those who misstep with you. One public example is worth more than 100 private warnings. You don't need to scream. You don't need to boast. You need precision. When the time comes, act like a scalpel, not a hammer. Precise, surgical, irreversible. Do not just respond. Respond in a way that ends the question of ever challenging you again. If they lie, expose them with facts so sharp they cut reputation. If they steal, make sure what they lost is tenfold. If they plot, dismantle their influence before they finish the plan. Strike when they feel safest. It is then they are most careless. And it is then you teach the cost of underestimating silence. Machiavellian dominance isn't about being noise. It's about creating consequences. Let others debate ethics. You execute outcomes. Chapter 7. Disappear to control. The greatest power is not what you hold, it's what they can't trace. When they don't know where you are, what you want, or how you move, you control the entire field. Visibility creates patterns. Patterns can be mapped. Once mapped, they can be exploited. To become untouchable, you must master the art of controlled invisibility. This does not mean irrelevance. It means mystique. You're not absent, you're elusive. Present only in outcomes, never in noise. Let others crave attention. Let them drown in exposure. You stay below the surface, orchestrating from quiet. The untouchable doesn't announce power. He engineers reality from behind the curtain. The more they look for him, the less they find. And that makes them nervous. Never let them read you. Confuse the observers. Speak little. Reveal less. Disappear often. You don't need credit. Credit is for the insecure. Let others collect praise. You collect influence. Applause fades. Leverage doesn't. If you must be seen, let it be rare. If you must speak, let it be memorable. If you must act, let it be total. When they chase you, make them question what they're even pursuing. When they think they've found you, shift shape. Become something else. Stay steps ahead. Disappear into results. Let them fight over illusions while you adjust the levers. No one attacks what they can't locate. No one plots against what they can't predict. You're not the face in front of the movement. You're the force behind it. Disappear into the infrastructure of power, into the systems, the networks, the minds of others. Control without presence is the final form of dominance. Stay invisible, stay inevitable, stay untouchable. Let them grasp at air. Power is not always held in the hand that strikes, it's held in the mind that never had to. Being untouchable means they never saw the strike coming, never even knew there was a sword until it was too late. Your strength is not in how loudly you speak or how visibly you move. It is in your silence, your calculation, your patience. You were not made to entertain the world with your transparency. You were made to shape the world with your invisibility. Let others be seen, praised, and envied. Let them crave recognition while you crave leverage. Let them be known. You be remembered. Let them be heard. You be felt. In the end, becoming untouchable is not about isolation. It's about design. Design your actions. Design your presence. Design your myth. And when they reach for you, when they think they finally understand you, let them grasp at air. Because by the time they look up, you're already 10 moves ahead. You don't play the game to be like, you play the game to never lose. Stay unreadable. Stay calculating. Stay untouchable.